information about Springfield Police Department policies and procedures, as well as demographic data about its interactions with the public. That's what the American Civil Liberties Union of Massachusetts wants the city to turn over, according to a lawsuit the ACLU filed late last week. A lawyer for the city has said the case is being reviewed, and if it owes the ACLU documents, they will be made available. I discussed the details of the case with Bill Newman, the director of the ACLU's Western Mass Legal Office.
Over a year ago, the ACLU sent 2 public records requests to the city of Springfield having to do with police operations. One of the public records requests had to do with general and administrative orders. Those are the orders, those are the directives, the documents that say, this is how the police in Springfield work. Here are the rules. Here's what we're bound by. And in response to that, the Springfield Police Department did not respond by providing what are, in our opinion, and we think the law is absolutely clear, did not provide the public records that it was obligated to provide within 10 days of the request. It's now been well over a year. Those requests that were not provided, that is, the documents that were not included in the response, police officers involved in shootings, use of force, reporting on use of force, both deadly and non-lethal force, and domestic violence situations involving departmental employees. Those are among the records that the Springfield Police Department refused and has refused so far to produce. Use of force, at this time in 2020, a police department will not make public its protocols and procedures and rules for use of force, for its use of deadly force, for its use of non-lethal force, will not make public what its protocols and rules are for when there has to be a report on the use of deadly force. The city of Boston last week made public, put it in the Globe, put it right out there. Here are our rules. And that's important because once we know what the rules are and once this residents of Springfield and the surrounding areas and the public officials in Springfield can all know what the rules are, then we can have a debate about, are they right? Are they proper? Do they ensure the safety of individuals in Springfield? Do they serve law enforcement purposes? And in Springfield, you can't actually have that discussion because the Springfield Police Department will not make public, or so far will not make known, what the rules are.
I just want to jump in real quick, Bill, just for a moment. When you say that they haven't responded, I just want to be very clear that the ACLU in your public document that was filed on Friday did include the written response from the city of Springfield, which was from
yes. I'm not saying
right, but
I'm not saying that.
Right. And I know you're not saying that, but I just want the folks at home to understand exactly what the ACLU did receive. It was a filing from the city clerk, and you're right that it wasn't within the 10 days. I do believe one response came 20 or so days later. It wasn't within the legal days, but putting that aside, it did respond, and it was a mix. It did give some documents. It said that the city believes that other things are not subject to the public records request. And then there are some documents that the city says don't even exist. So is the ACLU in that instance asking for something that doesn't exist?
No. First of all, what the city said was that we have nothing called an administrative order. We asked for administrative and general orders. 2 months prior to this request, the city responded to a different public records request on a different matter and provided an administrative order. In response to this request, the city says there are no administrative orders. And we find that to be a difficult position for the city to take, given that 2 months before it had provided an administrative order. But that aside, the city said in this instance, there are no such things as administrative orders. So we think that's wrong. In any event, the documents that the city did not provide and withheld with regard to the general orders, the administrative orders, are the most significant ones.
Lisa D'Souza, the deputy city solicitor for the city of Springfield, told Mass Live that, quote, if the city owes the ACLU any type of documents, we will make every effort to comply. So is this just a case of misunderstanding?
No, I don't think it's a misunderstanding. I think it's a case of withheld documents. The second request, we should point out, asked for the information about street encounters, and in response to that, the city provided no documents. So it's true with regard to the administrative and general orders, the city provided some documents, although withheld the ones that are so crucial to the public understanding now of how the city uses and how the police department uses lethal force and non-lethal force. But with regard to the street level encounter information that we requested, the city provided no documents. I don't think it's a misunderstanding. I think it's a refusal of the city to provide the documents requested. They're public documents. They're supposed to be made readily available, and they haven't been. And in response to the ones that the city says are not public, it cites an exception, a law enforcement, and there is an exception that the Supreme Judicial Court says is an extremely narrow exception for law enforcement. If there's information that would be useful to a terrorist, then a police department can withhold those documents. I do not see how it's possible to claim that the use of force protocols, which are public from other police departments, are not a public document here. How the reports on use of force are not public documents. How police involved in shooting information is not a public document. How domestic violence situations involving departmental employees, how is that not a public document? How is it not?
So if the ACLU is successful here and is able to obtain these documents, what's your hope for having this information and making it available to the public?
Well, I think that what America has experienced in the last few weeks, when you look at Rashard Brooks and George Floyd and Breonna Taylor and Tony McDade and all the other killings and all the other use of force, we know we are at an inflection point. We know we are at a place where we must come to grips and come to address use of force, particularly against communities and people of color. We cannot tolerate this any longer. And we cannot have that discussion. We cannot have the public debate. We cannot really address the issue unless we have the information that underlies what the police do and why they do it. So this request is a request to say, can we please have the debate? Can't we address this issue? It's of crucial importance to the country. It's of vital importance to the city. It's of significance to every municipality and every police department. And we need to have the information so that we can have the discussion. Withholding the information does nothing but breed suspicion and make it impossible to have that critically needed, vital debate.
Something else that Attorney D'Souza told Mass Live was that she's hopeful that the city and the ACLU can avoid taking this up as a civil matter in court. Do you think that that's possible? This will just be settled out of court?
Well, let me confirm that the city has reached out, and we certainly hope to meet with the city, and we will certainly consider any reasonable settlement offer. That said, these are, as our complaint points out, these are public records, and we think the records should be made public.
Terrific. I want to ask you about something else. Carol Rose, the executive director, as you know, of the ACLU, said in a statement on Friday, "We need to fundamentally shift the role that police play in our society. That begins with transparency and accountability." Is that your position as well? And if so, what does that look like for you?
Well, I think it starts with the city saying, here are the public records that you've requested. And then we will be able to, as I've said, have that discussion, because we need to know, as Boston made clear, we need to know what the use of force policy are, what they are, and the information about use of force. And I think that transparency, that accountability from law enforcement is something that many law enforcement agencies now will welcome and do welcome and say, yes, we want to be accountable. We want to be transparent. We are here to serve and protect, and we will make the information available on how we serve and protect. And when we fall short, we'll improve it. And when we fail, we will admit it. And that transparency, I think, is crucial to making the kind of world, the kind of society, the kind of cities and towns and municipalities that we all want to live in, that we all want to be part of.